Hey guys, I'm here with Lindsey, Morgan, Raven Reyes from The 100, returning for season 4. Thank you for coming here, Lindsey.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. This is a show where a lot happens very quickly. I just need to ask right away, though, about this poster right behind us. There's a giant freaking explosion.
Yeah.
Anything you can
Oh,
say?
that?
Yeah. Anything you can say about that giant explosion?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this giant explosion is, it's foreshadowing the impending doom of the second nuclear apocalypse. Yep, it's our second one now.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I know. You thought you dealt with it already, but it came back for more.
And here's another one. We spoke on the set a few months ago, and you were saying that this season kind of reminds you of season 1 in some ways.
Yes.
Can you talk about what is it about this season that sort of brings you back to that tone?
I always felt season 1, it was, how do you kind of learn to survive, I guess, you know what I mean? As far as, it's the aftermath of the apocalypse. And we made it, but as far as now, we got to continue humanity and whatnot. This season, it's almost like the pre-apocalypse.
Right.
So it's the preparation of it, and what would you do if the chances to survive are so slim that you kind of are, you got 6 months to live, basically. You're kind of betting to fail. So as a way to, how are you gonna live your last days? So it reminds me of that, and it reminds me of how in the first season we were just really focusing on governing ourselves as a community and as a whole, as the 100. But now we have all the factions of the Grounders and everyone else to consider on Earth, and so a lot of questions of how we as this new 100 or new society, new crews, we call it one crew.
Right.
How are we all going to survive together?
Because at the end of last season, pretty much only Clark knew at that point what was going to happen.
Right.
But now, of course, everyone's starting to find out. We have a clip right on IGN you can watch of Raven telling some of the other characters. What is Raven's personal reaction to this? And, what does she feel is the move to do in this horrible situation?
The thing about Raven, which is, it's like a blessing and a curse, is that she is so smart. So when, Clark or Bellamy needs her to figure out some intel or figure out, they also wanted to figure out the legitimacy of Allie's claim. Is she really just some crazy artificial intelligence that's spouting lies? And, but Raven finds out Allie's right, and this impending doom is happening. And she knows, she almost has to be the bearer of bad news because she knows what's to come. So that's very difficult and a lot to weigh on her shoulders. But I love it because this season I think you get to see Raven in leadership roles, which you've never seen Raven play at all. She's usually, the gadgets of the operation. So you get to see her really, you give her take as far as what she thinks is the right call and what to do.
Is that fun for you to play, to get the Raven barking orders?
Barking orders is cool, but it's also, I'm very good at it.
Natural
skill. So, it's really easy. But I'm quite bossy. But it's cool trying to lead. It's like very interesting to play because you have to appeal to your audience and you care and you can't be selfish when people depend on you.
Right.
So I think a lot of the greatest leaders are selfless. And I always found Raven to be selfless, but you get to see her battle between that.
Last season, not that any season's been easy on Raven, but last season was particularly pretty tough on her. But she did come out of it with these sort of mental upgrades.
That's right.
And we saw that at the end of the season a bit, how she used it. But can you talk about this year, especially given this situation, how that might be beneficial, and just what is she capable of now, having gone through this sort of Allie upgrade?
The Allie upgrade plays a big role in Raven's journey this season, and that, it's funny, you get to see Raven in so many different lights because she's been, mentally, emotionally, physically just broken down and brought to the brink and torn to shreds. So with this upgrade, it's almost like finally a silver lining for poor Raven Reyes to have something really cool. It's like having superpowers, right? but with great power comes great responsibility.
I've heard that before.
What? I just made that up.
Right. It's a good line.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So you get to see Raven deal with that, but also things also aren't as what they seem. So I feel like this season, Raven really comes to her true self, and I think it has to do more with her heart than her mind. And you guys get to see what that means.
Clark has been, in some cases the de facto leader, in some cases a more direct leader.
Right.
With Raven taking more of a leadership role, are they sort of, working together, or are they at odds? What is that dynamic like?
Raven and Clark's relationship's always been really interesting to me, because I always found it to be so dynamic, because they are two people that, obviously through the Finn love triangle or whatever, you think that they would have conflict, and
right.
and they do. They're both opposing spectrums of this Finn relationship, but within that, they have such respect for each other, just as women and as smart individuals and leaders in their own right, to where and they're friends. So yeah, now that Raven's stepping up and making her voice heard, Clark is who she's pleads her case to a lot. So they go through it. They go through it. Sometimes they're on the same page, and sometimes they're reading completely different books.
This is a show with a very large cast, and it's in
Yes.
multiple locations. Are there any characters this season that you either maybe have never worked with or just rarely worked with that you're getting to have some more interaction with?
Yes. Who can I say who? Right.
I don't know.
It's funny. It's funny. I just I can't say. I can't even tell you what's funny. Yeah, I think they do a really great job of that. As far as we have so many characters from so many different perspectives and so many different worlds and different clans and everything, and they do a really good job of always pairing us up with people that we haven't had a chance to work with.
Right.
So I don't know what I can tell you guys without spoiling it. Just watch it.
Just watch it. But suffice to say, is it fun for you as an actor just because, it's like you see these people and they're around on set, but then you're like, oh, now we actually get to
Of course. No, I mean,
this time.
Exactly. I mean, it's always so fascinating for me as an actor to work with new people, because everyone always brings something different. Everyone always everyone's style is different, everyone's personality is different, you never know. You never know what they're like to work with. And so that's always exciting, and it's kind of like it's like sparring a bit, you know?
Right.
Or yeah, that's all I can do is it's like sparring. And so it keeps you on your toes, and it's very fun to see what they're going to bring and what they're going to give you, and it's fun.
The 100 is a dark show with a lot of dark events. That being the case, is it extra, fun or entertaining or different for you guys when you get an episode that has a little more humor? And I know that's not often, but once in a while there are some episodes that have given a little bit of lightness. It's always kind of shocking to come to set and be like, oh, we're not.
Oh yeah, it's like a vacation.
Right.
It's because it's like you said, it's heavy, it's tough, and sometimes I find it's therapeutic going through very dark emotions or emotional emotions, but sometimes it's a drag.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I'm having a great day.
Right.
I don't want to go sit in a room and cry.
About the end of the world.
I have to cry about the end of the world.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that really. But what's funny is we usually have a couple, without a doubt, there's always a couple jokes in every script that are great jokes, but they're usually the first to get cut if we are lacking on time.
Right.
But you're right. I think they do a really good job of trying to find some lightness, some levity, and the heavy.
Yeah.
You just gotta look out for it.
Right. Come for the heavy and then look for the levity.
Yeah.
Well,
Stay for the jokes.
Exactly. The 100 with those jokes you should look for.
Yes.
Coming back Wednesday night, 9 p.m. on the CW. Lindsey, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Bye, guys.